Hello, my dear friends. Today we start with this design of spur gear step by step. Okay, so these are the steps: determination of design power, then assumptions made for the further design, then determination of number of stages, design for individual stages, minimum number of teeth on pinion to avoid the interference, teeth on a gear wheel considering the hunting tooth, calculation of exact input and output speed, material selection, determination of weaker element, determination of design stresses, module estimation against bending or wear, and check the gear for wear or bending failure, check against Levy's dynamic load, check against Buckingham's dynamic load, and design for constructional details. Okay, so first step is a determination of design power. So first of all find out the data regarding the input power. So from which we are getting the input power, either AC or DC motor, or maybe IC engine, maybe turbine. So find out the data from data initially. Okay, if not given, assume it to be AC or DC motor. Okay, similarly determine the or find out the data regarding the output. So output machine is what kind of machine? It's a reciprocating machine, it's a rotary machine, it's crushing, or what kind of machine? Then it's per hour working day and the atmospheric conditions. It means that whether the atmospheric conditions are controlled condition or not, whether they are dusty environment, whether they are some cloudy environment. So likewise determine this data, and from this data we are going to select the appropriate service factor. Okay, and for our reference we have to refer PSG 7.69. Here, according to the input and according to the output of the output machine, okay, so different service factors are given, so we have to select appropriate service factor from this and determine design power. Okay, so design power P is equal to actual power that to be transmitted into service factor. Fine. Okay, now which are the assumptions to be made? First of all, gear tooth profile. So already we have stated that gear tooth having the two types of profile, involute and cycloidal. Okay, in case of involute, pressure angle remains constant. In case of cycloidal, pressure angle varied from maximum to 0, again 0 to maximum throughout the meshing. Okay, but what is the advantage of cycloidal? Yes, there will not be any chances of interference. Involute, there may be a chances of interference, but as far as the cost is concerned, or as far as the cost is concerned, cycloidal has a two types of curves, hence it is somewhat high cost than the involute profile. So for the cost and quality we have to go for the involute profile. Okay, then we go for a pressure angle. So standard pressure angles are 14.5, 15 degree, 20 degree, and 25 degree. So question arises, what type of pressure angle we are going to select it? So generally if you go for the higher pressure angle side, the number of teeth on the pinion the required will be lesser. Okay, that comes out to be lesser. It means that the gear size will be dropped down. Okay, so tooth is stronger in bending, so normal forces and increase and contact stresses increase, so which will result in a rough power transmission. At the same time, if you go for decrease in pressure angle, okay, so what happens if we decrease the pressure angle, then uh, then as per as the standard AGMA formula, the number of teeth required will be too much higher. Okay, it means that size of the gearbox required will be higher. It is result in bulky structure with a high inertia, and as well as it gives a high cost. Hence, on compromise between the cost and quality, we have to go for moderate, or generally the standard pressure angle is 20 degree, which is offered from multiple applications. So we take pressure angle alpha is equal to 20 degree. Okay, then gear grades. Okay, already we stated that grade AGMA, as per AGMA there will be a 12 number of grades are there. Okay, so grade 1 and 2 are called as the master gears, high precision gears. Okay, that is only used for calibration purpose. Grade 3 and 4 are called as the precision gears. Okay, here lapping process is done with all kinds of finishing processes. Okay, it can be used for the low torque and high speed application. Then grade 5 and 6 are called as a carefully cut gears. Okay, here only one process is missing, that is lapping process. Okay, hence such kind of gears are called as a carefully cut gears that can be used for medium torque, medium speed applications. Grade 7, 8, 9, 10 are called as commercial cut gears. Okay, here finishing process are very lesser or very small amount, and hence you will get some rough surface finish that can be used for the high torque low speed applications. Grade 11 and 12, that is called as a core series gears. Here finishing process haven't been done, and such kind of gears can be used for the hand driven applications. Then we go for the type of gearing: SN gearing, S0 gearing, S gearing. So what do you mean by first of all type of gearing? It's the addendum modification. It's depend upon the addendum modification. If the pinion gives a positive correction and gear gives the negative corrections, then such kind of gearing is called as a S0 gearing. If pinion gives a negative correction and gear gives a positive correction, then such kind of gearing is called as a SN gearing. Now if there will not be any modification provided, then such kind of gearing is called as a SN gearing. Hence addendum is equal to one module in that. Okay, so first of all, what do you mean by addendum modification? Suppose the tooth gives a positive modification, positive addendum modification or positive factor, then what happens? Just see there the tip of the tooth will get narrowed down and thickness and root of the teeth will get slightly higher or increased. Similarly, if you give the negative correction, then what happens? Tip of the teeth gets broader and root of the teeth thickness will get lesser and lesser, reduced. Okay, so this is the type of gearing. So generally we go for the SN gearing. Okay, then gearbox layout. Actually the gearbox layout in the first figure is a standard gearbox layout, but in order to get the lot of marks or the full marks in exam, it's tedious to draw it. So go for the line diagram as shown in the second figure, that is for simplification purpose only for the exam view. Okay, for specific design things we have to go for the first one. Okay, then determination of number of reduction stages. For spur gear, reduction stages per stage is limited to 5 due to the sudden impact or impacting power transmission. Hence it will be limited to 5. So how to find out the number of reduction stages? First of all, calculate the value of I overall. I overall is equal to N maximum upon N minimum. Let it be assumed to be the maximum speed or the input speed, let it be a 1200 rpm, and the output shaft speed required is 100 rpm. Then the reduction ratio, overall reduction ratio is 12. It is greater than 5. Hence we have to go for multi-staging. So how to find out the number of stages? So we have to calculate the value of I individual is equal to nth root of I overall and check it whether it is less than or equal to 5. It means that suppose reduction ratio is 12, I overall is 12, so 12 is less than 1. So first root is not less than 5, so go for second root or square root. So square root of 12 is less than 5. Yes, we have to go for two stage reduction gearbox. Suppose the I overall is equal to 20, I overall is equal to 30, then square root of 30 is not less than 5. We have to go for cube root. It means that we have to go for the 3-stage reduction unit. Okay, so we have to calculate the reduction ratio from this number of stages from this equation. Okay, determination of minimum number of teeth on a pinion to avoid the interference. So as per the AGMA, Z minimum is equal to 2a upon m upon sine squared alpha, where a is the addendum, m is the module of the gear set, alpha is the pressure angle, that is 20 degree. We have assumed it already. Okay, but we are considering SN gearing, so addendum is equal to 1 time module. So formula will comes out to be Z minimum is equal to 2 upon sine squared alpha, and that comes out to be 17.0973, that is equivalent to 18. Okay, so from this equation we can get the minimum number of teeth to avoid the interference. Next, determination of number of teeth on gear wheel. Fine. So Z2 is equal to I into Z1 as per the standard, that is I is equal to Z2 upon Z1 obviously, but we have to consider one more teeth over there, that is called as a hunting tooth. Now what is the function of hunting tooth? Suppose Z1 is equal to 18, Z2 is equal to 36. It means that the relation ratio is exactly 2. Then what happens? All the time first gear of the pinion meshes with the first gear of the gear wheel, and at the same time it is meshes with the 19th number of gear wheel. It means that this pairing is constant throughout the working, or throughout the operation, throughout the working of the, or throughout the life of the gearbox. Suppose by mistake, is if there is a surface failure on first gear, then all the time first gear will erode the first tooth of the pinion will erode first tooth of the gear wheel as well as 19th tooth of the gear wheel. It means that we have to replace this gear pair early. So we can prolong the life, we can prolong this wear by changing the pairing. For that reason we have to add one more tooth that is called as a hunting tooth. Now what happens, in a first complete rotation of the gear wheel, pairing will be 1, 1 and 19. Now in the next rotation of the gear wheel, pairing will be changing as 1, then 91, then 37, then 18. Likewise, in each rotation pairing will be changing, and the failure with life will get increased. So for that reason we have to consider the hunting tooth. Then determination of weaker element. So how to find out the weaker element? Standard formula for the beam strength is given as FB is equal to MB sigma B into Y, standard from the PSG 8.50, where M is the module, B is the face width, sigma B is the design bending stress, Y is the Lewis form factor based on the circular pitch. Okay, again this formula is given on PSG 8.50. If for the two meshing gears, face width and the module should be equal, it means that the factor remaining which can be compared, that is sigma B into Y, and we can say that F is the comparison factor which is equal to sigma B into Y. In some cases we can take it as a sigma Y into Y also, because sigma Y depends upon the value of sigma B depends upon the value of sigma Y and some operating conditions. So in some cases we consider F is equal to sigma Y into Y, and capital Y, formula for a capital Y is called as a Lewis form factor given on PSG 8.50 for the 20 degree pressure angle, 20 degree full depth involute teeth. Okay. So first of all we will select the material. So constraint for the material selections are hardness of the pinion material should be greater than the gear wheel in order to control the pitting failure. But how much it should be harder than the gear wheel? So for that reason just see the relation 30 should be less than or equal to BHN1 minus BHN2 should be less than or equal to 60. It means that BHN difference between the pinion and the gear wheel should be in between 30 to 60. Now what is the reason? If the BHN difference falls less than 30, then there will not be any comparative wear statement. It means that the pinion may get weaker or may get weared out early. Similarly, if the difference is too much higher, then it is observed that the gear will get weared out early. So in order to compromise between them, we have to consider in between 30 to 60. Fine. So how to select the material? So if you want standard pairs, go for PSG 8.5 and 8.4, 8.5. Standard recommended pairs and some material properties are directly given on those pages. Then for plain carbon steel, go for PSG 1.9, and for alloy steel, go for PSG 1.13. Now let us, for example, we will go for selection of plain carbon steel. So from this table, whatever the data you are seeing there, that is from the PSG 1.9 itself. Let it be for pinion, I will select C45. So what is the BHN? BHN number is 229. So 229 minus 30. What is the value? 199. 199 minus 30. What is the value? It will be 169. So we have to select the value of select the material for the gear wheel whose BHN in between 169 to 199. So only one option I have, that is C35, whose BHN is 187. So for this problem we are going to select For pinion we go for the C45, for gear wheel we go for the C35. Then strength factor F is equal to sigma y into y. So sigma y 360, sigma y2 is 310, y1 0.3246, y2 0.4371 for the similar problem whatever consider here. And then consider f1 is lesser than f2, it means that pinion is weaker and we have to go for design the pinion. Now these values, just to see it, these values will be changing as per the problem. Means number of teeth will be varying, then those values will be varying, but we have to make pinion weaker, so that we go for the design for pinion. Now next, determination of permissible or design stresses. Now which is the weaker element? Pinion. So for pinion we are going to design it. It means that permissible stresses for the pinion material we have to find it out. So first of all, sigma be designed, go for PHG 8.18. Standard formula is given 1.4 into KBL into sigma minus 1 upon n into K sigma, where sigma minus 1 is the endurance limit stress in a bending. Again this formula is given on PHG 8.19, and select the standard formula as per the material selected. Okay. Specifically there is, put the value of sigma u and sigma y in kgf per cm square. Okay. Then n is a factor of safety, again standard table is given just below it. Then K sigma is a stress concentration factor, last table on the from that page 8.19, and KBL is a life factor generally taken as a 1. Okay, if you put all these values you can readily get the value of sigma B. Okay, so generally for plain carbon steel, sigma B varying from 140 to 160 Newton per mm square generally, and for alloy steel it is ranging from 170 to 210 Newton per mm square. That is just to understand the thing, if some fault we are making. Then sigma C is the design severe stresses. So standard formula is given as per AGMA is 2.8 into BHN minus 70, that much Newton per mm square, that is given as per AGMA. Directly we have to put the value of BHN, you will get the answer in terms of Newton per mm square. Fine. So these are the formulas to calculate the design stresses. Now module estimation. We can find out the module is the basic things. First of all, module is the basic things from which the gear design is depend. So we'll find out the module by two ways. First one, by equating the beam strength with the Levy's dynamic load FD. Both the formulas are given on PHG 8.50, but this process is time consuming because we will get some cubic equation. We have to prepare one cubic equation after equating the formulas, and then we are going to solve it for one value of m, and then we have to check it. So it is little bit time consuming. So for safer side we have to go for PHG 8.13. Again we will find the two formulas, wear formula and a bending formula. Again on wear, in case of wear formula there will be a for designing, for checking, and again for bending, again for designing formula and checking formula. It means that if you are design against bending, then check for wear. It means that if you are designing the module for against bending, then use the designing formula for a bending, and then check for wear using the checking formula from wear side. Okay, and similarly if you are designing for wear, then check for bending. So this is a standard procedure. So generally mostly we go for the PHG 8.13. okay, and after getting this from anything, after getting the value, suppose your answer will be 2.73, then select the standard module from PHG 8.2. okay, standard modules are given with series 1, series 2, series 3. Again the problem is there, suppose your answer comes out to be 2.8, so don't consider it to be 3 mm, consider it to be 3.5 or 4 mm, because if you are selecting the nearer value, then there may be a chances that gear will get failed in the dynamic loading. Hence consider somewhat higher value for the safer side. Then check for wear. Again checking for wear can be again two types. First one, determine the value of use a checking formula from the wear side, determine the value of sigma c induced, and just check it whether the value of sigma c induced lesser than the value of sigma c designed or not. If this sigma c induced value sigma c induced value comes greater than the value of sigma c design, then increase the face width by up to 12 times module or increase the value of module. Okay, increase the value of face width from 10 times module to 12 times module, or increase the module. This is one way. Or sometimes in problem they will give us specifically determine the wear strength, then go for PHE 8.51 standard formula FW. FW is a wear strength, that is formula is given as BDQK from PHE 8.51, and just check whether this value of FW, that is the wear strength, is greater than dynamic loading or not. Okay. Then determination of beam strength and checking against the Lewis dynamic load. So FB is equal to MB sigma B into Y, which is given on PHE 8.50. Okay, again standard value module, face width, sigma B design, Y, all these values already we are calculating it. Just put it and calculate the value of FB, that is face width, that is beam strength, beam strength. Then go for the Lewis dynamic load. Again standard formula is given on PHE 8.50. FD is equal to FT into CV, where Ft is a tangential force. We can calculate from the torque. Already we are calculating the value of torque, then calculate the value of tangential force from it. Then Cv is the Barth velocity factor. Again there will be a 3 to 4 formulas are given. So as per the initial assumption regarding the gear grids, select the appropriate formula and calculate the value of Cv. In this formula of Barth velocity factor, put the value of pitch line velocity Vm in meters per second. Okay. Now put all the values and calculate the value of dynamic load. So for the safe design, beam strength should be greater than the value of dynamic load. If this condition not satisfied, then increase the face width from 10 times module to 12 times module and just check it whether the condition is satisfied or not. If this not satisfied, then go for the increase in module by marginal value. Okay, again consider the standard modules given from PHE 8.2. Then checking against the Buckingham's dynamic load. Again standard formula is given of FBD is equal to FT, and the standard formula, again some bulky formula is there, but we have to find out. Again see, the contents are very less. Ft is a tangential force, we have to put it in kgf. Vm is a pitch line velocity, we have to put it in meters per second. Then value of C is another term, C. So from PHE 8.53 table, there are table number 41 and 42. So as per the initial assumptions made, calculate the value of C from this. Value of B is the face width, already known to it. Already we are calculating it previously. So put it in centimeters. So all the values we are already known to us. Put it here. Calculate the value of FBD. You will get the answer in terms of kgf. Convert it in terms of Newton. And again for a safe design, FB, that is a beam strength, should be greater than the value of Buckingham's dynamic load. Now last one, tooth proportions. So for after the completion of each and every stage, we need to fill up this data, that is module per stage, then addendum, what is the addendum value, one time module, what is the value, just try to fill it, what is the clearance we are providing, what is the dedendum we have to provided, then pressure angle, then number of teeth Z1 and Z2, then pitch circle diameter for pinion and the gear wheel, addendum circle diameter for the pinion and the gear wheel, dedendum circle diameter for the pinion and the gear wheel. Just we have to fill it. Now after the completion of this, you will get the full marks. So for full marks from all manner, just we have to finish up to this per stage. Now after the completion of this, go for the second stage, then go for the third stage. Okay, if specifically they are asking for a design of shaft, then we go for a shaft design and other gear blank design in a next PPT. Thank you very much.